Set. Okay, so moving along from Super Bowl, but just getting into Radio Row because we're seeing a lot of athletes answer questions, discussing a lot of different topics and things like that. So Kay Adams asked Eagles Cooper DeJean about his alleged relationship with WWE Hall of Famer Nikki Bella. So this has caused a lot of just talk because Cooper's 22 and Nikki is 42. Mace, do you think any questions are off limits for athletes or entertainers when they're discussing these questions, these topics, or do you think all is fair?
When it comes to people's personal life, people want to know about it. When you're a celebrity, people want to know what's going on with you. I think it's on you to tell them before the interview what you would like to stay away from. But if you don't do that, then all is fair. You know, if you're a celebrity, your life is going to be public anyway. You don't get to be like private. I don't think you do.
And who is that?
Yeah, Cooper DeJean for the Eagles. And then he's allegedly dating WWE Hall of Famer. He was being asked questions about his relationship, looked visibly uncomfortable. So the conversation now is kind of like, are there certain questions that you think are off limits for athletes or entertainers, or you think all's fair?
You think she be in there tackling that nigga?
I'm not gonna lie, for a lot of boys, I feel like their dreams. That's their dream.
For the WWE Hall of Fame to put the nigga in the system. Nigga want the WWE champion. What position he play? Pause.
What? Let me actually check. Oh yeah, corner.
Oh yeah, they be in there practicing. Yo, this girl, right? This girl sent me this video of her bench pressing mad fucking weights and shit. They went like this afterwards. Like that shit was gonna turn me on. I'm like, yo, why'd you send me that?
You bench pressing mad weights. How much weight was it?
Don't get me wrong, it wasn't crazy, but it was the 45s and a little one under the 45. I guess 10 pounds under the 45s. And then got up and did this. And I'm like, wow. Shout out to my sister Cole. Shout out to Cole. Me and Cole was looking at him. He's like, yo, what does she think this is going to turn you on? I'm like, I don't know. Like, sure.
Was she a wrestler?
Might as well. Nah, she wasn't even a wrestler. That's the whole shit about it. She had that's what fucked me up, murder, is that she had a regular day job. I didn't know she was like that underneath her clothes and shit. Then she was bust out, and I'm like, she had a nigga with Hulkamania and all that shit. I'm like, yo, what am I supposed to do with that? You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
I remember I was in the gym, right? And this girl was bad. She be lifting weights and she was sexy and shit. She wasn't lifting them joints. And I walked up to her. I said, you think you could beat me in a wrestling match? That's just random. She was like, I beat most men in wrestling matches. I ain't gonna lie, it kind of turned me on, but I don't want the WWE champ. Imagine you come in, she on top of the dresser like this. Clothesline you on the intro.
Yeah.
Yo, let me stop.
She get carried away and hit you with a chair. You never know.
Yeah, man, it might be a Royal Rumble. Imagine she bring her girlfriends in for the pajamas. Party is a Royal Rumble. Wow. Yo, oh shit, man, let me stop. Yo, Nash, shout out to Real Love.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Find love out there is how you find love. I was just joking around, seriously. Because I don't know the relationship. But congratulations if y'all are in love. But Mace is right. I agree with Mace. What people don't realize when you do interviews, right? And it's simple, but I think people don't understand it, that they think they're trapped there. When you do an interview, like Mace said, before the interview, you can say, look, this is what I want to stay away from. I don't want to talk about this, talk about this, talk about this. When I've interviewed people, they've told me things they don't want to talk about. And I said, cool. Even if you don't say that before the interview, if somebody brings up something that you're not comfortable talking with, I think the people don't understand. They can be like, I'm not talking about that. Let's move on. And then if they press you again, you'd be like, if you ask me again, I think I'm going to get up and leave. They don't get that. I think that they're trapped in the interview, have to answer any and every question that's presented to them. It is very simple. If somebody asks you something that you don't want to be bothered with, say, I'm not talking about that. Let's move on. And if they don't get that, then walk away. You're not obligated to answer anything in the interview. And I think a lot of people don't get that. But Mace said you can tell them before the interview you don't have to do it, and you don't have to answer anything. Even in the integration room, you don't have to answer. It's a shit called the bill. Like, you don't have to answer no questions, never, man.
Like, what I was supposed to do?
Yeah.
Ain't nothing, nigga.
Right. I think people don't understand that. So just advice to those that don't know doing interviews, man. You don't have to answer anything, ever.
Yeah. Good little masterclass. Only thing I will say to this is, like, I could It's like when you see his body language, I could tell he didn't think it was going to go where, and who knows, because that's kind of been like a dodge question a lot. Maybe it was said, but a lot of times when people do interviews, they're going to try to push for an answer anyways. So him also just trying to like, probably like, I'm trying to think of like the other side of it. He's probably like, maybe she'll stop asking me about it, but then it is kind of like a big like flag like that everybody's kind of been discussing. So it's like, I also feel like if you know that there's potentially somebody going to ask that, you can also skip interviews altogether, but just depends kind of how you want to work around it. Cause I just feel like people are going to push if they feel like they can't get an answer. So I could see both sides on that.